so cool. Anime convention, ATX, shall I say.
Okay, it's great.
Blue Ghost. Creepy classics. Beautiful anime convention stuff. This is my first anime convention. Hey look, Chris, I could easily do it like that.
Yeah.
This is so cool. Oh yeah, they're gonna have the panel right here. Look, that's Keith Silverstein. Yo, that's so cool. They got Princess Peach and them over here. This is so cool, dude.
Mike Chick.
Dude.
When hinges creak on doors change.
This is so cool. This is so freaking cool. He plays so many anime characters I know, but I only have two things for two characters that he plays right now with me to get autographed.
Silverstein, you said?
Yeah, Keith Silverstein.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can do better than. Look at these seats up here too. I love this. Very, very cool. Absolutely. Well, thanks for everybody coming out and all the great cosplays and stuff. And thanks for inviting me. This is unbelievably very cool way to spend your Saturday, as far as I'm concerned. So I'm having a blast. So my name is Keith Silverstein. I've been doing voiceover for about 24 years now, which is a crazy amount of time. Blows me away, but I just keep my head down and just keep doing my thing. And if I'm still doing it, then I must be doing something right, I guess. So I'll take it. If some of you are wondering what some of my credits are, got any Hunter x Hunter fans? So I'm Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter. John Lee from Genshin Impact.
Yeah.
Hawkmoth from Miraculous Tales of Blade. It's a good one. Ready to rock from Overwatch. Speedwagon from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Hunk from Resident Evil. Vector the Crocodile from the Sonic the Hedgehog series. Ogai Mori and Bungo Stray Dogs. We got some fans of that. Kimimaro from Naruto.
Woo!
Coyote Stark and some others from Bleach. We'll get into more. There's other characters. We'll get into it. We spend too much time doing this. So I don't want to just talk about myself. So if you guys have some questions, I'll take whoever wants to come to the mic, and we'll start with come on up. Sure. That way, at least I'm talking about what you want to hear, as opposed to just talking. I'm happy to see you. Thanks for having me.
Clearly, you work through a lot of different types of media, like Overwatch and Miraculous. What makes you two characters that you always would consider like complete polar opposites? Kind of funny to you.
Complete polar opposites. I'm trying to think of someone who'd be real. I mean, I don't know about polar opposites. I know I played a bunch of nervous characters, but I don't know if any of them are like super. Oh, I know one. There's one. Have any of you watched King and Ashura? Can you hear that? Okay, so Kazuo in that, who's pretty nervous and out of his element most of the time, I would put him on one side, and on the other side would be Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter, who is like literally the most confident character of all time. Nothing at all fancy speed. So I'll put him on one side and Kazuo on the other. By the way, I love your opinion. That's a good question, though. Very nice. Yeah, that's about as confident. The only character I played that's as confident as Hisoka is, if any of you saw, we got any, what is the film called? What is it called? Guild to Zoro. So if you watched the movie Guild to Zoro was in, I don't know what the name of it was. I'll get it. I'll say it when my brain kicks in. But he's about as confident, for sure. So, and that's one in the One Piece film. Oh, One Piece film Gold. That's what it is. He's about as confident. Different kind of confidence, but, all right, who else has got a question for me? Otherwise, I'll babble on. Yeah, please, come on out.
Can I ask a question about Genshin?
You can ask a question about Genshin. If it's about secret stuff that's not out, I will not answer.
Is there any way I can ask about your opinion on Shao?
What my opinion? Well, first let me preface this. I don't have a lot of opinions on the characters because I have had, so far, enough time to put in about 8 hours in Genshin Impact. So for as long as it's been out, I have played for 8 hours. Not because it's not amazing, because I actually figured out within about 20 minutes that it is actually amazing. But I don't have favorite characters yet. I just know they all look amazing. The design of the characters is fantastic. A lot of my colleagues I know have put in really great performances. I've watched a lot of the announcement trailers for them. But I don't have the same relationship with all the characters that those of you who played it. So I don't want to bad talk or say that, you know, Shao's my favorite or whoever it is. Because I haven't played enough to know. So I'm going to be honest with you. But I haven't seen a character that I disliked from what I've seen so far from Genshin. So. Alright, anybody else? I'm going to get comfy in the seat here. I'm going to relax. Well, come on up. We got a mic here. You got to come up because otherwise if I call on you, I can't hear you. Oh, you look great. I love this.
So my question is, how did you get the role as a history? How did
How did I get the role of Hisoka from Hunter x Hunter? You know, it's actually pretty straightforward. And it's similar to how most of the roles that I booked go. I basically got an audition. They said there's a new series we're going to be dubbing. It's called Hunter x Hunter. They sent me a couple of characters. I auditioned for Hisoka, of course, and Leorio. Those are the two that I read for. Obviously, I didn't read for Gon. I don't have the right voice print for Gon. I would never even be considered for that. So I read for both of them. Really liked Hisoka. I mean, just was a fun character. So I had fun with it. They explained that he was very confident, that he was a bit effeminate in his speech pattern, but not high-pitched, which is important. Because there are a lot of characters that have that kind of like musicality to their voice that can be really, really high pitched. And he's not, so I kept him in the middle to deep register. And luckily, they liked my audition. I mean, he's one of the most fun characters I've ever played. He's super mysterious. You never know quite how badass he is. That's the fun thing about the series. I think they purposely didn't put it in the Chimera Ant arc because then we'd be able to go, oh, wait a minute, I know where his power level is now. So I like that they didn't do that, although I missed him in the arc, I will be honest. I missed seeing him. He could have been somewhere else doing a separate adventure. That would have been nice. But yeah, the rest is history. I mean, I can't imagine not having played that character. He was destined to be my favorite character in that show, whether I played him or not. I would have been like, that guy. That character is cool. Nice shirt, by the way. Yeah. All right, who else has got some question for me? Yeah, take them. Hi.
What was the point in your life that you decided this is where you needed to be?
Well, listen, as a youngster, I was very confused about what I was going to do when I grew up. I knew I did not want like a normal 9 to 5, ideally. So I was like, am I going to be an actor? Am I going to be an artist? Am I going to be a dancer? Am I going to? Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. It was a bit frustrating because I had a lot of friends that knew exactly what they wanted to do out of high school. I did not. At one point, I had done some acting and of course some singing and some other things. So I had some training in that. At one point, my uncle called me up and he actually asked me if I wanted to audition to do some voiceover for a project he was doing. So I auditioned, he had a bunch of different voices he needed, and I ended up booking a couple of different characters with him. But the thing was, we went into a studio. I mean, this was legit. I recorded in a studio, we had an engineer there, director, the whole thing. And I kind of instantly fell in love with the whole concept of his career. I knew it had existed before, but I never thought about it. I never did, even though I did voices.
How old were you?
This was in my 20s. This would be like early 20s, I guess. Yeah, or mid 20s. When I finally fell into this and was like, I love this, I gotta keep doing this. And then I had to work quite a bit, so I didn't know, or I wish I had known earlier on, trust me. It's always nice, but keep your options open because you never know. But I just say try everything, and if you don't like it, you'll move on, and if you love it, at least you found it. So yeah, so I'm very thankful I did. Yeah, thank you, good question. Yeah.
So your voice isn't like super deep, right? But John Lee's
No, my voice is not super deep. Never.
How hard was it to keep your voice deep by John Lee? How did you figure out how to get it?
The question is, how hard was it to keep my voice the depth that John Lee and Genshin Impact speaks at? And I will say, it's actually he's not that deep for me. He's in my relaxed, John Lee's a very relaxed character. He's almost meditative. Everything that he says is kind of a little bit slower and in his comfortable zone. So for me, that's just my this is me raising my voice a bit as I talk. That's just how I naturally talk. But if I were just relaxing, like completely relaxed, I'd be like right here. And that's really close to John Lee. So every journey has its final day. Don't rush. So when I record for him, the interesting part is I kind of get into a meditative state, which I think he should be in anyway. Because I have to, speaking like this at a medium pace, usually not too quick. And he's spouting so much knowledge that it just feels like he's coming from such a place of experience. And hopefully that transfers over to you guys, and it's fun to hear him talk, because you're just like, oh, it's so soothing, because that's kind of where he lives. Yeah. He doesn't get too excited except when he needs order. Right? Yeah. Come on up. Oh yeah, what animes did I watch early on? And I was a fan of anime. Actually, as a young child, I didn't know the term anime. But this is going to go past a lot of your years right here. I grew up on Kip of the White Lion, Speed Racer, G-Force Battle of the Planets. I used to watch something called Marine Boy. Kind of a lot of old. I used to watch Transor C, and there was a couple of other like Shogun Warrior ones I don't know the names of that I watched. So I was into that stuff. And then I used to watch Ultraman and like Giant Robot as a kid as well. So I loved all that stuff. That whole scene, it's kind of funny it took me so long to fall into this as a career because it was all there. In fact, even worse, when I was a kid in like 4th or 5th grade, my favorite pastime was I would hang out with a friend of mine and we would play a movie and we would record it with a tape recorder at the same time. We'd turn the volume down and we would dub the entire movie. We literally would go 1, 2, 3, play record. And we'd watch the whole thing and trade off parts. So that's how I spent my free time, and it still took me 20 some odd years to like figure out this is what I had. Literally, the blueprint was all there. I was working up to it. I didn't know it could be a career. I just had no idea I could get paid to do what I did for fun. So yeah, old school stuff. Yeah.
Who was the hardest character that you voiced?
Who's the hardest? Well, listen, I have different characters that are difficult in different ways. So there are characters that are vocally stressful. Vector the Crocodile is vocally stressful just in where he speaks. Also Torbjorn. So anything that's real raspy. But also there are a lot of military games that are just a lot of yelling. But if you mean in terms of finding the character and living in that space, the most difficult for me is a series called Monster. I played a character named Johan, who was a very difficult, about as evil and disassociated from any kind of emotions as you could possibly be. Really smart, soft-spoken, but just lives in a really, he's a sociopath. So just lives in a really dark place. And I remember recording for that, and generally when I record anything, I like to joke around in between takes. It's kind of just my nature.
Yeah.
And I started to do that with him because I was used to that. It was too difficult for me to honestly get back to that place very quickly. So I actually, Patrick Sykes, who's an amazing actor and director, was directing the series. And I had to tell him, like, hey, I'm not going to be my normal self in between takes. I'm not mad, nothing went wrong, I'm not in a bad mood. When I get to a break, I'll be me again. But I had to stay focused and live in that character a little bit more than I usually do.
Okay.
So he was kind of the most difficult for me. That and just, it was a challenging role.
All right.
So, and vocally it was interesting to Troy. He's very high pitched.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Sweet.
What is your favorite anime that you watched the most?
My favorite anime that do I have a favorite, absolute favorite? It's a good question. I think my favorite growing up was a show called Robotech, which I absolutely love. Like that one, I rushed home from school to see episodes of Robotech. Now, Robotech was on in the 80s, and it was on the same time as like Transformers and G.I. Joe. And here's what I loved about Robotech. See, in Transformers and G.I. Joe, especially, I'll use G.I. Joe as an example. When a helicopter got down, it got blown up, you always saw the parachutes come out. You knew that everybody was okay. Nobody got hurt. In Robotech, a helicopter would explode, and you'd see the people inside go, ah, and kind of disintegrate in the flames. And I loved that. I mean, I was in high school, I was like, oh my God, yes, finally. Like, the other shows I liked, but I did realize they were very, very kid-friendly. Like, nobody really got hurt, and it pulls on the emotional strings a lot more when a character dies. Not every character needs to die in a show, but I mean, every once in a while, that makes you go, you know what? This is serious. And you take the story a little bit more seriously when there are losses. So I really enjoyed that. Also, later on, Death Note is one of my favorites. And I'll choose something that I'm not involved in so that you know it's not something I'm biased towards. So, but there's a lot of there's far more animes out there than I can keep up with, that's for sure. Anybody else? Yeah, come on up. Look how organized you guys are. Like, we get one hand up at a time. It's perfect. Hi. Is that a Texas thing? There you go.
So, in your Gabriel aggressive voice, can you say, Adrian, pancakes or waffles?
Good morning, Adrian. Pancakes or waffles? Natalie, make him some waffles. No, I'll make them myself. How shocked were you when he was making pancakes that morning? It was pretty shocking, right? Listen, we record out of order sometimes, actually frequently. And I remember coming in and recording that scene and being like, Ezra, our director, like, what the hell is going on? Why am I making pancakes? Why do I seem happy? Is this a trick? What's going on? So it shocked me too. I definitely was like, okay, we're out of order. Maybe it'll get explained why he's suddenly turning over a new leaf. Maybe it won't. I don't think it was. He just suddenly was like, you know what? I'm going to make pancakes. That's great. I love it. Other questions? I'll get you if there's no... You haven't had one yet, so we'll do you first. Well, I can't hear you till you get to the mic.
This is a question from my friend. If Hisoka was transported to Genshin, what would we have to say about Venti?
Well, this Venti is fairly interesting. Perhaps we should have a drink together sometime. But who knows? Who knows? Who else? Anybody else hasn't asked a question yet? Yeah, come on up. Get up on that mic. Everybody's repping for Naruto. Man, lots of them. Pull that down so it's facing you.
What's your favorite video game?
Oh, my favorite video. Oh my God, I'm old school with the video games. My favorite of all time, the one game that I make time for no matter what when a new one comes out, is Tomb Raider.
Hey.
All right.
Tomb Raider series since the very beginning. It doesn't get any better than that for me. That's the one I will make time for. I do play some others, but not as much as I used to. I used to play a lot. Right now, every now and then I'm picking up Street Fighter 6. That's kind of the newer one that I'm putting some time in on. So, yeah, that's awesome.
Sweet.
Anybody else got a nice question for me? Yeah, come on up.
Would Zhongli know how to use a phone if he was in our world?
Would you know how to use a phone? I think you could figure it out pretty quickly. That's a weird question. Where did that come from? I mean, a phone, the concept of a phone is not that, I mean, maybe how they work is complicated, but in terms of just like, oh, you talk here and there's someone on the other end, I think he'd figure that out pretty quickly. Like, okay. I mean, maybe not all the apps we have on our phones right now. That might take a little bit longer. But I figure in no time he'd be playing Genshin Impact on it. So.
So you voiced Yaga in Jujutsu Kaisen, right? If you could pick anybody else from Jujutsu Kaisen to ask your voice, who would it be and why?
Now, you picked a show, Jujutsu Kaisen, that is hugely popular, but is one of the shows that I have not gotten around to watching. So I saw the fight, I saw Mechamaru's fight with Panda. That's it. That's what I've seen so far, honestly. And I keep saying to myself, you have no idea. I got a family. I got to work all the time, and then I do these wonderful appearances. So I'm like, I'll get around to Jujutsu Kaisen. Who do you think I should voice if I had the choice?
Okay, I think I'm definitely biased as a Gojo stan.
Okay.
I feel like you're gonna kill it as Gojo. You haven't even watched the scenes that you're in.
No. Well, what if I'd only done that? Wouldn't that even sound worse? I only watch the scenes I'm in. No, I actually really would like to watch that series. Also, one that I barely worked on at all, but Demon Slayer is really popular, and I only got through I think I watched the first two. I didn't get bored or anything. That's what I got to. But there's a lot of shows I'd love to see, and trust me, back in the day, I caught up pretty well. But the last 10 years, and I'm thankful for it, I've been really busy. So I love it, it's fantastic, but I'll have a lot of catching up to do. Video games and shows. Plus, I do watch the shows that I love. I love Marvel shows, for example. So I'm always watching the Marvel movies and Marvel shows. You don't have to like them, but I'm saying whatever it is, whether I'm watching the Star Wars shows or the Marvel shows, or whatever cool thriller show that's out, or the latest horror movie that's actually good. So I'm still doing all those things, watching movies with my kids, watching Bluey with my daughter. Bluey's great, absolutely. I'm telling you, there's only so much time in a day. What are you gonna
My
do?
kids at home watching it.
Who else has got a question for me? Yeah, come on up. You're gonna ask about Bungo, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, I'm catching up on those too.
No, actually, I was wondering if you could say in your speedwagon voice, Jonathan Joestar has the biggest yacht I've ever seen.
The biggest what?
Yacht?
Yacht.
Yacht.
Why does he have a yacht?
Not a yacht, a cat.
I don't know what that is, and I'm not gonna say it. Yeah, I learned that a long time ago. Look alive, Master Joestar. He's trying to lure you in like it's not. Right about now, you're probably wondering who I am. Allow me to elucidate you. The name is Robert E. Speedwagon, and I'm not going to say that. Yeah, listen, I don't sit here and look it up on Urban Dictionary. I just go, and no. You get me in a lot of trouble, I'm going to get fired. You get fired from every show at the same time for saying something one of these days. And by the way, effort is what's important. Results come second. There's your old guy Moore for you. It was in the back of your head, right? All right. Who else has got a good question for me? It's got to be good, though. You got a Hunter x Hunter shirt. Come on up. Nope. You don't have a Hunter x Hunter shirt. You just did a question. What's up?
So throughout the Hunter x Hunter series, what is your favorite arc?
I think it's, I'm tied, there's two of them. I think it's Zebel Island is the first island they go where they have the numbers, right? I love that one. I love that arc. And I think the other one, I guess I like Islands. No, I also like the whole Phantom Troop. The York New. Oh, it's hard. Okay, I have to pick three. So the York New one, right? Zebel Island. And then I really like, what is the other island called? Greed Island. Thank you very much. I really love it. But there's so many good ones. I can tell you what my least favorite is. And it's not because it's bad. I actually really like it. It just goes, I think they should have cut like 15 episodes. And I'll say it. The Chimera Ant arc. It's great. I love the characters in it. I feel like 15 episodes shorter, something like that. I'd be like, yes, it's the right amount, because it's a lot.
I want to ask kind of thing right
So, there you go. Now you know how I feel about Hunter x Hunter. All good, though. They're all great arcs. That's as much as I can narrow it down. Yeah, I saw your hand go up. Come on up. And Supergirl's over here? Look at that.
What was your favorite part of playing Johan in Monster?
It's me, Doctor. I was the boy you met that night. What was my favorite? Just that it was different. I mean, from a lot of the characters I played up to that point, I played, Monster was, middle to earlier in my career. I mean, I don't know how many
Freaking
years ago
Silent
now it was,
Hill.
but I think it's like
That is freaking
10,
cool.
15 years. Is that possible? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm like, how old am I? It's not possible. I'm
What if she
29,
was
so yeah, it doesn't even make sense. I think just that he was so different. And still to this day, I don't think I played a character quite in that vein. I've had some that are soft-spoken and have similar voice prints, but not really that dark. So I like it because it stands out, and it also is a really good series. Period. By the way, Monster you can watch on Netflix now, but not in English. So you can, but you can find it. It's one of the only ones I will say, like, however you can find Monster, find it. Because Viz stopped putting it out. They only put out like 40 episodes, like half of the series. So if you can watch it on, I think it's still on YouTube. I'm like, yeah, just watch it on YouTube. It played on Sci-Fi Channel and somebody recorded all of them. So if you get a chance to check it out, it's very cool. Dark. It's a dark series for the little kids. Not so much. Murder, death, that kind of stuff. So get it right. You have a question for me right here? Yeah, come on up. What is the, out of all the ones, what is the one that I watch? Well, I've seen all of Hunter x Hunter. I'm trying to think of the ones I've done. All of Beastars. All of Dorohedoro.
I say what he ever
I've
do
seen
his
all
own.
of those.
Oh, his own.
I'm trying to think of what else. King and Ashura, I've seen all of those. Godzilla Singular Point. Wakfu. I don't know. There's a lot. There's a good chunk that I've seen, and I probably could keep going. Marching Awakens Romance from back in the day. A lot of the ones back in the day, I saw all of them. But like Naruto, when I worked on Naruto, they already had like 200, 300 episodes. So it's like I've never gone back and watched all of that or all of Bleach. I have seen like a number of arcs. The arcs I was in Bleach I watched. And I did watch the whole Kimimaro series for Naruto.
All
I'm
right.
still going to get around to Boruto and find out, watch all the Jigen. I haven't seen any of the Jigen stuff yet, so there's a part of it I've watched. It's just there's no way I can keep up. It's just too much. There we go. Yeah. Yeah.
This is kind of a silly question.
I love silly questions.
Of all the characters you've voiced, if you could meet any of them for coffee, which one would you meet the most, and which one would you want to meet the lowest?
Okay, well, the least is easy because we already talked about Johan, the sociopath from Monster. I want nothing to do with him. He was the scariest character as far as I'm concerned I ever played. Some people would think Hisoka, but I think I'd stand a decent chance. Hisoka's unpredictable, but he rarely just kills for no reason. Only when he just kind of has to. Or if he's going to get pleasure out of the fight. And I wouldn't be enough of a challenge, so he'd get no pleasure from battling me. Who would I like to the most? Ooh, you know what? In the past, I think I've said Torbjorn, but I think Zhong Li. I could probably stand to learn a few things. Zhong Li seems to know literally everything, so that would be fun coffee. That would be the longest coffee ever, I think, because it would be like, tell me more, and I don't have to do the work to say it. So I would just listen and hear how Leo is supposed to be pronounced correctly. It'd be great. Here we go. Who else? By the way, Zhong Li, you look fantastic. Look at Zhong Li, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. I have no regrets in meeting you, friends. Anybody else got a question? Do you have a question? Yeah, come on up.
My question is, out of all the auditions or opportunities
Yeah.
you've had, which one that slipped away from you and you were just like, man, I wanted that?
Oh, that's a good question. So out of all my auditions, what like is the one that got away? And I will say, I think every actor is different. But because as an actor, we mostly get rejection. Now when I say that, that doesn't mean that we always get a call or an email that says, sorry, you got nothing. We don't usually hear anything. Sometimes we get like, thank you very much for auditioning. You weren't chosen in this cast. It's like a group email that goes out to everybody that didn't work on it. But most of the time, you just don't hear back, which is probably fine. It's probably best. But because of that, I really try not to get attached to any auditions, if that makes sense. I mean, I'd love to give you a like, oh man, but there's two sides to that. One, I don't get attached to characters I don't book, and two, I get really attached to characters that I then book. Meaning, like, if you say, like I mentioned, I auditioned for Leorio as well as Hisoka, right? I think Matt Mercer absolutely killed it as Leorio and should have gotten that role. I happen to love Hisoka, but even if my heart had been set on Leorio, that's how it would have worked out in the end. I would have said, wow, I really like this character now that because it becomes part of you. And if it doesn't become enough part of you just from working on the show, when I come to events like this and I meet people who are fans of any of the characters, and you guys express to me how much you enjoy this character, that makes me even more attached to the character. How can I not be when people come up and say, listen, this is my wife, we met because of this game or because of this show, and we love your character. All that becomes baked into how important that character is to me, as you guys are telling me these stories and expressing your affection for these characters and how you were in a dark time and this character was a big deal for you, you know what I mean? So I really end up falling more and more in love with the characters I have played. If that makes sense? So I don't really have characters that I'm like, oh, that should have been me. It doesn't help me to think that way. If that makes sense, yeah. Okay, you're welcome. Good question though. All right, who else has a question for me? Yes. Oh, wait, gotta go, John Lee. You'll be next. Come on down, John Lee. I'm gonna see this cosplay anyway. Yes, so good. You want to tell me your favorite animes?
Well, it's more underground.
What's your favorite underground anime?
It's called Shiki. It's a vampire anime, but it has no romance.
Oh, it's a vampire anime with no romance whatsoever. So it's all like blood and guts and... Ooh, I kind of like it. What's it called again?
It's called Shiki.
Shiki?
It's a little...
Adult? I mean like bloody and... Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds cool. Is it easy to track down?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay. Anybody else know this one, Shiki? Well, now you know. A couple people do. Is it good? Yeah? All right. Well, thank you. That's cool. Now it's on my radar. It means I'll see it in about 12 years. Yeah, you have another question, please?
Can you say in Jean-Li's voice, Shao, stop being emo and respect your father?
No. No, Mihoyo is, same with Blizzard, and I think rightfully so. Those characters are so popular. Jean is such a popular character that everybody wants me to say something personal to them or say something that's not an in-game line. And I know the companies would prefer that I did not do that. So in order to keep my career and continue to work, I respect that the characters are not mine. As much as I love them and I pour my heart into them, I don't own the characters, so I can't just say anything. I never want to disrespect. Not that you're disrespecting the character, but for me to do it, you can say anything you want as the character, but me, I'm the official voice of, so I have to be really careful, especially with really popular characters, because it'll go crazy on on the internet, and people will animate to it, and it'll become a big thing, and it'll come back to me in a bad way. So just pretend I did. That was great, right? I think you said it. Crazy. Yeah. Hello again.
Do you have a favorite voice line, and if so, can you say it?
I think my favorite is you will continue to shine like gold in my memories. I think that's my favorite. It's just very sweet.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You thought I was going to say Osmanthus wine, didn't you? I hear that one a lot. It's a good line, but I do hear it a lot. Yeah, you got a question for me? Yeah. Oh, that looks fun. Oh, do I like Gon or Killua better? Oh, here's the problem with those two characters. I mean, with picking one. They play off of each other so well. The fact that Gon is so just like believe in himself and positive, and it exudes this energy that's just infectious. It feels so honest and so true and so innocent. But the reason we love that in the show is partially because Killua was kind of the flip of that, right? Killua was a little more, a little darker, has different opinions on things, is much more critical, and that's why they make such a good pair, I think, at least. So it's really hard to pick because one without the other to me, would not be as interesting. So, but if I had to pick, if you forced me at gunpoint to pick, which please don't do that, I'd say Gon, I guess. But that's, my actual choices, they go together. They're perfect. So, yeah. Ooh, I like your shirt. I want to do it. Let's draw straws. My favorite line in Sailor Moon? You think I remember a line in Sailor Moon? That's crazy. I'll tell you my favorite thing that, I do have a favorite line. I don't know that I have it memorized. But we're talking about the redub, the Viz redub of Sailor Moon, which was 8 years ago or something like that. So, I got a line into the show that was not written into the script, which is really fun when that happens, right? So this was the week I went in to record, and I assume that some of you know who David Bowie is. David Bowie had just passed away that week, right? And I was like, oh man, I mean, super talented. I was a little bit on the bum side, it was in the back of my head. And I just so happened to come in to record for this, and there was a line, the actual line is, he says something about, I remember a song about a star that I used to hear in the disco. That literally is his real line. And then he sings a little bit of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. That's an actual line that Tomoe, Professor Tomoe says in Sailor Moon. So, just for giggles, I said, I remember a song about a star that I heard in the disco, and instead, I sang a little bit of Starman by David Bowie, except I sang it wrong notes. Does that make sense? So that if they wouldn't get sued, right? I did not sing it right. Like if you hear it, you'll go, okay, I see what he was doing, but it's clearly not sung right. That was done on purpose. They ended up keeping it, and it's in the show. So there's a little David Bowie tribute from Tomoe in that. So I love that that got snuck in. So whatever that line was specifically is my favorite line from him. But I also like that he always says like, he's always like, Kaolinite, you're the only one who can help me. I love that no matter who he talks to, they're the only one that can help him. And I like that he said that to like 12 different girls. I thought that was funny, yeah.
So, who do you think you'll enjoy fighting more? The gold person of gold or Krollo?
Krollo or Gon? Oh. Well, I'm not interested in broken toys. So, not Krollo. I'd have to say Gon, of course. So cool. I like that you took the long way. You're like, I'm going all the way around. No, man, you do you. It's all good. Every journey has its final day. Don't rush. Who I made in Overwatch? No, I definitely made Target. Listen, I have put in more time in that than Genshin.
It's
Sure, I used to play a bit.
That is so cool.
But I have not put in the amount of time to be good at that game, so I'm very average at it. So I have focused on one character, and it felt like I should be like, I should probably be good at being an engineer. So yeah, I'm terrible with everybody else. Yeah, so I don't do the events where they give you like a random character, because I get killed so fast, people are like, who's this idiot? Yeah. You're welcome. I'm predictable that way. 10. Hi. Is that good, whatever you're drinking? Come on up.
What's your favorite miraculous character?
Who's my favorite character from Miraculous? Well, this goes to what I was saying earlier. I get really attached to my characters. I just do. I mean, I love Cat Noir's great. There's probably a few other characters that specifically would jump out at me, but how can I not love Gabriel Agreste and all the versions, right? I mean, there's no one better than me. In fact, I'm a fashion designer. You know this, right? And I'm a very good father. Is that true or false? Am I a good? Is he a good dad? You can say the truth. Is Gabriel a good dad? What do you mean, no? Didn't you see I made Adrian pancakes 3 times? I spend as much time as I have with my son. Do I lock my son up and do terrible things? Yeah. He's not a good dad, that's very clear. So when I say I like the character, just so you understand, when I like a character, I like them as a character in a show. So Gabriel Agreste in real life I would not like. So I just want to be clear for all the youngins out here. If I like a character, it doesn't mean I respect them as a character. I just think he's great on the show. So I do love him, and how could you not love saying, "Nuru, Darkwing's rise"? Now, I answered your question. I need you to do something for me. Get me Ladybug and Cat Noir's Miraculous. Do we have a deal? Excellent. Here, put it out the whole thing out. There you go. There you go. There you go. You're very welcome. All right, yeah, you got a question coming up. You brought me a pizza. You didn't have to bring me a pizza. That's so sweet of you. I'll have it after we finish.
If all of the characters you voice had a battle, who would be the first ally?
If all the soldiers, all the characters I ever played had a battle, who would be the first to die, and who would probably be standing in the end? All right, that's a valid question. The first to die is super easy because all the characters, I play a lot of like Soldier 5, and you know what Soldier 5 does? He says one thing. He goes, "Ah!" And that's it. So Soldier 5 would be the first to go. Because they always are. Anytime you're playing like man in red shirt, you know, or third man in red shirt, those are not the characters that are going to be standing after the battle is over. So soldier number 7 or whatever is the first to go. And I don't know, man. I feel like I know it's a popular choice, but I feel like John Lee probably would still be standing. I think eventually Torgrim would bite the dust. And even Hisoka would bite the dust at some point. I'm trying to think who else is like pretty all powerful that I play. We know that Mekamaru wouldn't make it. Wouldn't be Hawkman. I think John Lee would probably be standing in. I think. Correct me if you do. Who do you think would be standing in the end? No, I think it would be John Lee. I think he would have, in the end, he would have order. And soldier number 4 would be dead. Thank you. Anybody else who has, because we're running out of time. Anybody who hasn't asked one yet? You haven't asked one yet. Come on up. Now you're going to be shy? You had your hand up? You can't have your hand up and then be like, oh, he picked me. Why did he have to pick me? Because I'm evil. That's why. I'm always honored and privileged when I get to work with really anybody I get to work with. I mean, I got to Rob Paulson and Cree Summer. God, there's so many people. Tara Strong. There's so many people that are just so good. I don't know that I have a one that I have to work, I really want to work with. I mean, there's some. Mark Hamill would be really cool to get to work with. But there's a lot like that, because I have a lot of respect. There are some that a lot of times I work with people I don't necessarily know all that they've done, but, by the time I'm done the session, I go home and I look them up, I'm like, oh my God. So I just as somebody who grew up on cartoons and video games and stuff, I'm honored anybody I get to. Even the colleagues, the people that I work with all the time, like Bryce Pappenbrook and Christina V, all these people, I'm honored every time I get to work with them. Erica Lindbeck, just really talented people, So I don't know if I have a one, but we'll settle that with Mark Hamill. Would be pretty dope, for sure. All right, we got time for one more question. It's got to be a good one. It's the last question. It's the ultimate question. Yeah. All right. Wait, you haven't done one yet because you did one. That's why I'm going here. Yeah. Sure.
Okay, I got a question.
All right. No math. No math. Don't do it. Don't give me a math question. Okay, good. If a man gets on a bus.
I got a question.
Okay.
What's your favorite Nintendo?
What's my favorite Nintendo game?
Yeah.
I would go old school and literally probably do the original Zelda, which I played like crazy.
Ooh, yeah.
I solved that thing. I know it's a ways back, but that was I remember playing that and loving it. That was some good stuff. I also loved, I don't think it was Nintendo, it was Sega, had that Phantasy Star, the original Phantasy Star. You guys only know like future versions, but that original one, oh my God, I love that. It was fantastic. All right, guys. Well, I think that is our time for now. Now, I'm still signing for the rest of the day. I'll be back again tomorrow. So come by if you haven't had a chance. You want to just say hi, or you want to pick up a print, or what have you. I will be signing there. Thank you so much for all the great questions, and hopefully I'll get a chance to